Hi, my name is Nicole Daub, and I designed the game Pathways to Science, which is a game focusing on the topics of sound and water, and it's based off of a one-week FOSS-KIT lesson plan that I'm doing with my students, and it's geared toward 3rd to 4th grade. Okay, so when students come to the game, they're going to find two things. One, they'll see the game board, which says Pathway to Science on it, and they'll also find a folder. And in the folder will be all the materials they need and the directions. So in the baggie, they'll find all the cards, the die, and the game pieces they need. They'll also find the directions, which will list the age of the player, the age that the game is focused toward, how many players, and in this case, it's geared to 2 to 4 players. The materials, so it'll come with a game board, blue cards, pink cards, wild cards, 1 die, and 4 game pieces, and directions on how to play. And it also lists what to do with the worksheet they'll find in their packet and what to do with the bridge, which is a special feature of the game board. In the packet, they will also find worksheets, and there'll be 1 worksheet for each student, so they'll need to put their name on the top, and they'll fill this out as they go through the game. Okay. When they come to the game, they also need to put it together, and it's very simple. It's listed in the directions how to do it. So the color of the cards corresponds with a color on the board. So for example, the pink cards are going to go in the pink spot here, and the pink cards for this lesson are focusing on sound, so they have the sound symbol. Okay, then the green cards, which are wild cards, will go in the green spot, and the blue cards, which focus on water, will go in the blue spot. So in the game, all the students will put their game pieces on the board. And I specifically listed in the directions how they should choose who to go first. And for this game, they're going to roll the dice, and whoever has the highest number will go first. And then the person to the left will go after them, and they'll continue on. So in this game, they roll the dice, and they move however many spaces are on the dice. For example, they rolled a 5, so this player will move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they landed on a blue space. That means they have to pull a blue card, but they're not going to pull. Their neighbor to the left of them will pull the card. And on the card will be a specific question. So in this case, the question is, how much of the world is made up of water? The person will ask the person who rolled this question, and they'll answer. And they have the answer right on the card, so they'll tell the person if they're right or wrong. For example, this is 75%. If the student answers 75%, then they get to stay on their spot. But if, for example, they answered 30%, then they have to move back to where they were on the last turn. So in this case, they'd have to move back to start. And there's questions focusing on all different aspects of water and sound. So for example, if they landed on a pink spot, they would have to pull a sound question. And for example, the question is true or false, dogs can hear higher sounds than we can, and the answer is true. And it's the same case. If they answer wrong, they need to go back to where they started. And the other option is for them to pull a wild card. And there are several different kinds of wild cards they'll find there. One says go back to start. There's one that says move ahead 2 spaces. And when they move ahead, they're going to land on a new space, but they don't have to draw a card. They just get to stay there. Another one is take another turn. And they have one that says go back 2 spaces. And as with them moving ahead 2 spaces, they don't need to draw a card when they get there. They just get to stay. Another feature of the board is that if they land on the green space with arrows, they have the option to choose the bridge. And the bridge is just a shorter path to finish. So once they land on green, instead of pulling the wild card like normal, they just get to stay there, and then on the next turn, they get to choose to take the bridge, and that's listed in the directions. Another aspect of this game is that while students are playing, as I said before, they're filling out this worksheet. And on the worksheet, they need to list 3 sound facts and 3 water facts in each column. So I said in the directions that they should be putting down facts that maybe they didn't get the answer right to, or that they weren't sure of, and they'll list it here. And this is just a great way for students to review information that they're not sure of, or as a review when they go back, as a review, and they can study it for a test or any activity that's coming up. Okay? So my name is Nicole Daub, and this is Pathways to Science.